Hi, this is Russ from Pro Tools Expert, and I've got myself a copy of iZotope Alloy 2, which they call the complete channel strip. And I wanted to show it to you and give you a full video review of it. I've had my hands on it for a short amount of time, but it's given me time to get around it, and I want to go over it with you. If you've used Alloy before, then you'll recognize some of the components, but some of them have been changed considerably. So I've got a mix here, and I've put Alloy 2 across every channel of the mix, and then we're going to look at the different parts of the mix. I'm going to show you in action. Let me just open it up first and give you a look at it there. We have basically an overview screen, and then we have the components that are part of it. So you've got an equalizer, a transient shaper, an exciter, Dynamics 1, Dynamics 2, de-esser, and limiter. And when they're grayed out, as with any other iZotope product, it means that they're in bypass mode, and we can bring it out of bypass. A quick plug, I've just finished the tutorial series for this, which is 25 episodes, available on Groove 3, which is Alloy 2 Explained, which goes into some detail. This isn't a tutorial, this is a video review. So let's look at it on these tracks. So I think a good place to start would probably be the Transient Shaper. And I'm just going to hide a couple of tracks we don't need here. And we'll come to like a beat here. Let's see what beat we've got here. So there's a loop I've got. Now, the cool thing about the Transient Shaper, if we look at this first, is that it's not only single band. You might have seen Transient Shapers before. There's several on the market, people like SPL and people like this. So normally you'd have a single band Transient Shaper, great on kick drums, great on anything that's percussive, guitars and stuff like that. And what Transient Shapers allow you to do is increase the attack or pull it back, or increase the sustain and pull it back, which enables you to push things further into the mix with more energy or pull them back. Very useful. So we've got it in single band mode, and basically we have an attack and sustain to do that. So we could use it in single band on this rhythm here. Just take down the gain a bit on that as it's coming in. You don't want that clipping. As you see, we can increase the energy and do stuff like that to it. So take some of the sort of reverb out. But however, if we go to multiband, we can split the bands up, which makes it far more useful. So we've now got it split into 3 bands. We've got the lows, the mids, and the highs, which could effectively be kick, snare, and hats. And so let's listen to this now in the multiband version. So let's get the snare, the kick drum tighter first. Snare. Let's get those hi-hats forward. How cool is that? Let's push the gain back a bit more again. Now what you could then do, of course, because it's a multi-channel strip, we could then put the limiter on, pull the margin down a bit, and we could catch those transients that are peaking a bit. Let's take that off now. There's the original. Lots of room in there. Lovely and tight now. So there we are. There's the limiter working now, and basically we have a hard or soft mode limiter. You can use it in stereo link or in dual mono. And then we have a threshold and a margin, so very good for some really cool gain increasing in a mix. So if we take that back out again, so at the moment you've got those peak issues, whereas if we put that back in again, we can lift up using the limiter and push that up. We've got a speed as well, so if you wanted to catch that even, those transients quicker, we could pull the speed down like that. Now the phase rotate in the limiter as well is really cool. What you can use it for, particularly on voiceover and stuff like that in broadcast, is that sometimes we will have waveforms which aren't completely symmetrical waveforms, And so using the phase rotate, we can actually make it sit better in mixes. Very cool feature and worth trying out if you're doing that kind of voiceover stuff. So there we are. We have the transient shape and the limiter now sitting on that drum track. So let's look at some of the other features. Let's go to something like this lead guitar. I'm going to show you the exciter in action now. The exciter is really cool as well. So we'll go here, go to the exciter, turn it on, and let's go to the lead break. It's here. Let's pull the gain down a bit again. Now what's cool, you have four corners where you could go full tube, full tape, full retro, or full warm, or you could actually go somewhere in the middle of all of them, or closer to like tube and retro or whatever. So it gives you lots of variations, and the way it works is it's a harmonic exciter, so we can push the drive of it. So there's tube, sorry. There's warm, there's retro. And there's a mix, we could put some of the original back in and take some of the exciter out. There's clean. I'm going to show you another feature of it in a minute. We can actually widen it out. If we're using it in multiband, and we'll use it on the Hammond organ in a minute in multiband, and it's really cool. So add some limiter to this as well, just to get this smoothed out. See that now without it? Use the equalizer as well, and use one of the we'll use the low shelf, which is an eight-way equalizer. So we've got up to 8 bands, and it's got some really nice vintage stuff in it as well. And you can just choose them here: bell, low shelf, high shelf, low pass, high pass, and some Peter Baxendale shapes as well, which are really beautiful and gentle and really cool and really nice to use, especially on things like master groups and stuff like that. We can get some really nice, sweet, just minor and just very subtle changes. So what I'm going to use, I'm going to choose number 1, and I'm going to use that as a high pass. I'm going to use it in flat mode, and we just go. Just take some of that bottom end out. Let's just bypass the whole thing now. Let's go back into that exciter. Or like the tube. See that in context and see the difference it's making in context. Let's get this Hammond up, and I'll show you the exciter on the Hammond organ. So open it up, and we go to exciter. I'm going to go unbypass that and take it into multiband. And now we have 3 bands we can work on. We can obviously vary those bands, we can move them around, we can solo them, we can bypass them and check them. So let's do the top end first. And some mid. And now we can use these width buttons to push things out. And just widen that image. Original. Let's hear that in the track. Pull it all down a bit. Let's just grab the all key. Just get that gain down a bit. And that's it off. Let's try bass guitar then and try Alloy 2 on that. And this time I'm going to be using... Let's use the equalizer and then the compressor. So we're going to push the bottom end in first, the bell. Narrow that bell if I want to. I'm going to use a shelf on that. So let's go to a nice low shelf, a nice vintage low shelf. And then we're going to put some dynamics on it as well. And again, these can work multi-band or single band. Just going to squash this a bit. Then we've got a gate as well if we want to use the gate. Got this thing called module gain as well. If you want to push more gain into something like a limiter, we can hit module gain instead. And now this is the gain just for this section. And there's the gate. Got attack, release. You can type into any of these by double clicking them. Just like that. So we're squashing that down a bit, and we'll put a limiter on as well, just to make sure we've got all the energy we want at the end. Just pull some of the top end out as well there. There's the original. Give me a bit more energy there. Let's try it on the piano. Now the cool thing as well, there's some really, really cool built-in presets, both on a global and a module level. So we can go to global presets, and we can come in here, and you can see they're all sorted like that. And I'll come down, find myself piano. We can just quickly try the presets on the piano. Quite nice. Change the margin on that limiter so it's not peaking. Pull the module gain down on that. Just really helping that piano to sit. Now let's start it at the beginning of the track. Just dealing with some of those transient peaks there and just cleaning it up a bit. And of course on the vocals as well, then we could use the entire strip if we wanted to. Could put some equalizer on the vocal. Let's have a quick listen to the vocal.
Remember the day when you were blue.
Make this the high pass.
But the sky was grey and my heart was too. I remember the day when you were red.
5K, just peak her a bit.
And you screwed
Narrow the
me
cue.
around and you messed with my head.
So we've got it 8, the high shelf there.
When you were green, when you pushed me so hard.
Put a vintage one in.
I wanted to scream.
Excited a bit.
Remember the day when you were blue, but the sky was grey and my heart was too. I remember the day when you were red.
Put some de-esser on it, just check the de-essing.
Remember the day when you were blue, but the sky was grey and my heart.
Now what's cool about the de-esser as well is you can use it anywhere. So if you want to deal with a snare in a loop and the snare was a bit too harsh, you can actually move the bandwidth anyway. Often with a de-esser, what you've got is you're just basically dealing with the top 4K and above, but with this you can put it anywhere you like, which is really cool and very helpful. So you can actually tune in. You can use it either in multiband mode or broadband. In multiband mode, it's just working and taking down the frequencies that you're actually concentrating on. In broadband, it will actually, every time it hits the de-esser, push the whole lot down. You've got, again, an attack and a release time.
Remember the day when you were blue, but the sky was grey and my heart was.
That's nice.
Remember the day when you were blue, but the sky was grey and my heart was too.
2 acoustics here somewhere. Let's try the acoustic presets. They're really nice, the acoustic presets. And one thing I wanted to show you as well is this graph mode. And what you can do, you can move stuff around. So you can put the transient shape before the EQ there, so do things like that. So you can actually just put your stuff in any order you want. You can also take the dynamics and put them in parallel. So you take these two dynamics process and we can have dynamics 1 and 2 working in parallel anywhere you like, put the exciter after it. So very nice, you can move stuff around in the signal flow, because some people like their EQ before the comp sometimes or after, so that's really nice, you can do that. So let's try a couple of presets. There's a really nice acoustic guitar preset I used earlier today, tried it out. Just put one on for now. Make sure that's not peaking. It's quite nice. Copy it there. Make sure we're not peaking too much on those.
At the time it was just past 2. I was packing my bags, I was leaving you. I remember the time it was 3:30.
And as you can hear straight away, we've really started to clean that mix up, really nice.
The day when you were. White is the color I'm longing for. White is the color I'm praying.
There's the original.
White is the color.
Just put it all back down again. What we're going to do is we're going to now go in here to our Mixbus and we're going to just go to mastering. Now normally you'd use Ozone 5, but if you had to, if you had only Alloy 1, you can still use Alloy 1 and we can use the dynamics in multi-band mode to do some really cool processing of a Mixbus. So let's play this.
White is the color I'm longing for. White is the color I'm longing for. White is the color I'm.
Let's just compress the mid a bit.
White is the color of beauty. It's the color I
Just a bit of gentle compression there.
want to be.
Let's just thicken up that bottom end a bit. You can use side chaining on it as well. Just smoothing out the bottoms there. Doing the transient peaks there. Just catch some of the top as well.
I was packing my bags, I was leaving you. I remember the time it was. White is the color I'm longing for.
So there's the original mix, quite honky in the middle there.
White is the color I'm.
And here's the new one with Alloy 2.
White is the color I'm longing for. White is the color I'm praying for. White is the color of beauty. It's the color I want to be.
So there we go, Alloy 2, a complete channel strip in the words of the team over at iZotope. So we have, as I say, 7 processors we can use in any order. We can use the comps and the dynamics in parallel or serial. And then we have several parts, the transient, the exciter, and the dynamics, all available in multiband mode as well. At the moment, they're doing a deal on the site, $149, and I think there's an upgrade path as well for those who have Alloy as well. So big thumbs up from me. I think it's a great alternative channel strip. I know we get them thrown in often with our units, but you don't often get a transient shaper with internal from factory channel strips such as the one from Pro Tools or any of the other units. So transient shaper, to be honest, at $149, I think the transient shaper alone in multiband is better value than some of the transient shapers out there on the market. So I give it a big thumbs up. It's a great product, and of course it's not the big wow reverbs or delays or synths and stuff, but I think they've done a fantastic job. I think it's very creative, very musical, and it sounds very musical. And so you can use it across a whole mix or just on single stuff. But I've been using the transient shaper in multiband mode and also the exciter in multiband mode to achieve some really cool effects like I showed you on things like guitars, Hammond, and on beats and stuff as well. So go and check it out at the iZotope. I think there's a 30-day demo you can download. So head over to the iZotope site and take a look. That's my review. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon.